You've been lied to. They told you that wanting more was selfish, that you should be grateful, that ambition is dangerous, that desiring something bigger, more meaning, more love, more power, more truth, is a betrayal of your place in the world. You've been trained to flinch when you want something deeply, conditioned to apologize before you even take your first step. And if you don't, if you dare to reach beyond what was assigned to you, you're shamed, silently, subtly, relentlessly. This isn't about greed. It's not about money, fame, or climbing some corporate ladder. That's the decoy. That's what they want you to think this is about, so they can keep you small. The brutal truth is this: you were conditioned to feel guilty for wanting more because your desire threatens the entire structure that benefits from your quiet submission. This isn't about morality. It's about control. Every time you swallowed your hunger, every time you called yourself ungrateful for feeling that gnawing sense that something's missing, every time you chose to stay safe instead of stepping into the unknown, you were participating in your own sedation. And they made you think that was noble. It wasn't. It was obedience disguised as virtue. It was survival dressed up as peace. And it's killing your spirit. If you've ever felt that ache, the one that whispers, "There has to be more than this," then this video is not optional. It's a confrontation, a dismantling, and a call to arms. You won't find comfort here. What you'll find is clarity. Because the truth is that desire is not your enemy. It's your compass. It's the fire that keeps your soul awake in a world designed to put it to sleep. And yet, you've been taught to distrust it, to pathologize it, to medicate it, to frame it as a defect of character, a sign that you're entitled, broken, or ungrateful. But that guilt, that shame, that hollow pressure in your chest when you think about leaving the job, ending the relationship, moving away, starting over, or claiming something that actually matters to you, that was installed. You weren't born feeling guilty for wanting more. You were trained to, by institutions, by family systems, by religions, by economies, by people who told you that silence was strength, that resignation was wisdom, and that wanting something else was betrayal. But here's the brutal truth, and you need to hear it clearly. You don't feel guilty because your desire is wrong. You feel guilty because your desire is powerful. And power, when you don't understand it, when you don't claim it, will rot inside you. So if you're ready to tear off the mask of manufactured gratitude and confront the machinery that taught you to apologize for your own potential, then stay here. This won't be gentle. It won't be motivational. It will be a war cry. And the first battle is against the lie that wanting more makes you bad. It doesn't. It makes you dangerous. Imagine a prison, but not one made of bars or walls. This one is built with smiles, with soft language, with praise for being humble, easygoing, low maintenance. A prison where every inmate is taught to love their cell, to decorate it with gratitude, to hang quotes about being enough on the walls, to feel proud for not asking too much. This is the prison of contentment, not the true kind, but the weaponized version of it. The kind that tells you to shrink your needs so others don't feel exposed. The kind that shames your yearning because it threatens those who gave up on theirs. And here's where it gets worse. The guards of this prison are not just outside you. They live inside your head. They whisper in your voice. Be grateful. Don't be dramatic. Who do you think you are to want that? And if you listen long enough, they convince you that your hunger is sin, that the aching inside you for more depth, more beauty, more meaning, more aliveness, is somehow a flaw, a betrayal of the peace you're supposed to accept. But it's not peace. It's sedation. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher most misunderstood by modern culture, saw through this illusion long before it had a name. In his magnum opus, The World as Will and Representation, he revealed something terrifying, that at the core of all human existence lies will, an unrelenting force of wanting, striving, reaching. To live, according to Schopenhauer, is to desire. Not once, not occasionally, always. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't pretend we could meditate it away or affirm it into silence. He called it what it was, a brutal, unstoppable current that flows through all living things. Even when we get what we want, the will doesn't rest. It moves again. It craves again. It burns. And because of this, modern society, obsessed with control and predictability, treats desire like a disease, something to be cured, numbed, or therapized out of existence. But Schopenhauer never said the will was evil. He said it was reality, and those who deny it, who pretend they've transcended wanting, are either liars or already dead inside. Your guilt, then, is not the voice of morality. It's the residue of indoctrination, installed by systems that depend on your compliance, systems that need you to suffer quietly, to mistake numbness for maturity, to believe that transcendence means obedience. The metaphor of the prison doesn't stop with the bars. It extends to every structure built to keep the will caged. Schools that reward passivity, workplaces that punish initiative, relationships that demand self-abandonment as proof of love, spiritualities that label longing as ego. And when you try to leave the prison, when you dare to act on your will, the guilt hits hard, because the prison taught you to equate stillness with virtue and movement with sin. But Schopenhauer would call that a lie. He'd tell you that the will doesn't make you evil, it makes you alive, that suffering doesn't come from desire itself, but from resisting it, repressing it, burying it. And this is the twist. What you call guilt is not a moral compass, it's a leash meant to keep you docile, small, and digestible. But if you were to drop the leash, if you were to let the will speak, what would it say? Would it ask for money, status, applause, or would it scream for truth? That's what this is about. Not selfishness, not greed, but truth. The truth of who you are when no one's watching, no one's grading, and no one's telling you to tone it down. Let's stay in the metaphor of the prison a little longer, because most people never leave it. Not because the doors are locked, but because the guilt has done its job so well, they stop trying. They decorate their cell. They hang photos of goals approved by others. They post quotes about being grateful for what you have, and they believe it until the lights go out, until the quiet returns, until the truth knocks again. Schopenhauer didn't believe in fairy tales. He didn't offer hope to those who couldn't stomach pain, but he did offer freedom, a brutal kind of freedom that begins the moment you stop pretending you're okay. Most people confuse peace with sedation. They think calm means absence of desire. But Schopenhauer knew the opposite was true, that calm only comes when you face the will honestly, not when you deny it, not when you kill it, but when you confront it with eyes open. Desire is not the enemy. The disguises around desire are. That's why the modern world doesn't tell you to embrace your hunger. It tells you to optimize it, redirect it, brand it, monetize it. It converts your inner yearning into marketable goals. Fitness, success, productivity. All of them tethered to external validation. That's not liberation. That's domestication. And here's where the guilt becomes weaponized. If you reject that system, if you say no to the right goals, suddenly your desire is labeled dangerous again, immature, unreasonable, ungrateful. You're shamed not just for wanting, but for wanting the wrong things, the things they can't sell, can't tax, can't contain. The deeper your desire, the more untranslatable it becomes, because you're not just hungry for things, you're hungry for being, for something no algorithm can simulate, for meaning that doesn't collapse under performance. And that's terrifying to a system built on surface. Schopenhauer said that human suffering comes not from what we lack, but from our failure to accept the nature of the will itself. It doesn't stop. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't fit into 5-year plans. So what does that mean? It means you must stop waiting to be ready. You must stop apologizing for wanting something bigger, truer, deeper. You must stop bargaining with the prison, because the prison doesn't negotiate. It just keeps repainting the bars. Here's the truth you were never told, that your guilt is a reflex, not a reason. It's a defense mechanism, not a guide. And once you understand that, the game changes. The guilt doesn't vanish. It becomes irrelevant. You start moving anyway, because the will, once recognized, demands movement. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't need a map. It just pulls, like gravity, like instinct, like a truth too heavy to deny. This is not a romantic journey. It's not about feeling good. It's about becoming real, about ripping away the masks you were taught to wear, about standing in the open without apologizing for the fire that still burns inside you. And the world will call you selfish. It will call you difficult. It will say you've changed. Good. let it. Because the truth is, if you don't feel a little guilty for wanting more, you're probably still obeying. You can feel it in the quiet moments, that low-level tension, the way your breath shortens when you think about taking the next step, how you sabotage your own progress by playing it safe, by overthinking, by hesitating just long enough to let the opportunity pass. This is how the guilt shows up, not as a dramatic breakdown, but as chronic hesitation, a slow erosion of motion. It manifests in everyday obedience, staying in relationships that numb you, tolerating jobs that insult your intelligence, repeating rituals that used to mean something but now feel like cages. You tell yourself you're being responsible, that you're not ready, that others have it worse. But underneath all that is the truth. You're scared of your own hunger. You say you want clarity, but the moment it appears, raw, unfiltered, inconvenient, you flinch. You retreat into comfort rituals. You open your phone, you clean the house, you look for something, anything, to drown out the signal. Because if you were to listen to what you really want, you'd have to act, you'd have to risk, you'd have to become someone that others might no longer recognize. The guilt has trained you well. It tells you that wanting more is a betrayal of your current life, that it means you're ungrateful or broken or arrogant. But what if the opposite is true? What if your guilt is the last defense of the part of you that's terrified to wake up? You feel guilty for wanting more, not because your desires are wrong, but because they threaten everything false you've built around you. And deep down, you know, the cost of staying still is starting to outweigh the pain of moving. You've tried everything they told you to. Gratitude journals, mindfulness apps, minimalism, productivity hacks, cold showers. You've told yourself that maybe if I just appreciate what I have, I won't feel this way. You've begged your brain to stop wanting. You've performed mental gymnastics to convince yourself that ambition is ego, that restlessness is immaturity, that desire is weakness. And yet, the ache returns, because all these methods, as popular and polished as they are, treat desire like a virus to be managed. They don't cure the illness. They just suppress the symptoms long enough for you to function. The world tells you to heal by taming your hunger, but healing isn't the same as obedience. Here's what they never admit. The conventional methods aren't failing because you're doing them wrong. They're failing because they were designed not to work beyond a certain point. They exist to pacify, not to liberate. They're built to make you feel better without ever asking why you feel broken in the first place. And when the guilt creeps in, when you catch yourself longing again, you're told it's a relapse, a step backward. But Schopenhauer would tell you, it's not regression, it's recognition. You're waking up to the truth that no ritual can replace real confrontation with your will. These methods fail because they offer tools, not sovereignty. You don't need more techniques to sedate yourself. You need the courage to accept that your desire isn't a problem to solve. It's a force to respect. Most people never cross that line. They just keep optimizing their cage. You want a way out? Good. Then stop waiting for clarity to feel good. Clarity is not soft. It's sharp. It cuts through illusions, including the ones you still depend on. And if you want to build a life that honors your desire without drowning in guilt, you need a routine forged in confrontation, not comfort. First, begin your day with silence, not peace, silence. No music, no scrolling, no affirmations. Just you and the ache. Let it speak. Let it scream if it has to. Don't resist it. Don't reframe it. Just witness it without apologizing. That silence is your battlefield, and every day you avoid it, the guilt grows stronger. Second, track your betrayals. Every time you say yes when you mean no, write it down. Every time you nod, agree, smile, stay silent to keep the peace. Record it, not to shame yourself, but to see your obedience in cold, brutal detail. Patterns emerge when lies are documented, and clarity demands evidence. Third, kill the middlemen. Stop asking for permission to act on what you already know. Stop waiting for someone to validate your instincts. If you need to leave, leave. If you need to build, build. Stop outsourcing your authority to therapists, algorithms, or experts who don't live in your skin. Fourth, embrace useful guilt. Let it rise, let it burn, but don't let it dictate your choices. Guilt is a ghost. It only controls you if you pretend it's real. Feel it, name it, then act through it. like fire through fog. A routine built on confrontation isn't pretty, but it's honest. And that honesty, that's your way out of the cage. If you think your desire exists in a vacuum, you're already losing. Because every time you try to act on what you truly want, the world will push back, not always violently, sometimes with compliments, applause, guilt-laced approval. But make no mistake, it's still resistance, and it always comes. Schopenhauer called this the conflict between the will and the world. The will pushes from inside, wild, raw, unapologetic. The world pushes from outside, structured, numb, relentless. This is the war you're in, whether you like it or not. Think of your will like a fire, and think of external forces, family, institutions, social norms, as rain, constant, dripping, unceasing. Not enough to put you out at once, but enough to dampen your heat, slowly, strategically, until you stop burning and call it balance. You were told to compromise. That's the word they use when they want you docile. But compromise is not always wisdom. Sometimes it's surrender in disguise. The world will offer you comfort in exchange for compliance. It will praise your humility when you abandon your ambition. It will applaud your maturity when you deny your truth. And if you dare to resist, it will shame you with a smile. Understand this. The will and the world will never fully align. That's not a flaw. That's the tension you were born into. The point is not to resolve it. The point is to fight in it, daily, deliberately. You are not here to fit in. You're here to cut through. And every moment you choose your will over their expectations, you declare war on their illusion. Good. Let them call you selfish. Let them call you difficult. Let them choke on your flame. This isn't about surviving anymore. It's about winning. And to win, you need strategy, not sentiment. Brutal clarity, relentless alignment, precision over passion. First, stop arguing with guilt. It's not logical. It's engineered. Every time you try to reason your way out of it, you fall into its trap. Guilt doesn't respond to truth. It responds to obedience. So don't explain yourself. Act. The guilt only fades when it realizes it no longer controls your movements. Second, train your nervous system to handle rejection. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be labeled. And if that terrifies you, good. It means you're close to the line that matters. Step over it anyway. The more you condition yourself to walk through that fire, the less power their opinions hold. Third, build a fortress of sovereignty. This means ritual, boundaries, inner laws. Define what you serve, not who. Create a code that doesn't require consensus. Write it, memorize it, live it. Let it be more sacred to you than anyone's validation. Fourth, master the art of brutal consistency. Not discipline for the sake of hustle, but ritual for the sake of alignment. Show up for your will like it's a deity, because it is. Don't worship it when it's convenient. Serve it when it's hard. Fifth, burn your exit strategies. Every backdoor is a promise to return to sedation. Cut ties with what keeps you soft, publicly if needed. Accountability is leverage. Declare your war in the open and let them watch you rise or fall without flinching. This isn't self-help. This is warcraft of the soul. And you are not here to be liked. You are here to become undeniable. Now you know. The guilt isn't sacred. It isn't holy. It isn't wisdom whispering in your ear. It's a chain, rusted, familiar, disguised as conscience. And every time you obey it, you feed the illusion that you were ever meant to stay small. You weren't. You were meant to burn. Schopenhauer didn't promise you peace. He promised you war. Internal, eternal, unrelenting war between the will and the world. And that war? It doesn't end with comfort. It ends with conquest. You want peace? Earn it. Through clarity, through fire, through the refusal to betray yourself one more time. You are not broken for wanting more. You are broken the moment you stop. This is not the part where I tell you to be kind to yourself. This is the part where I dare you to rise. To stop apologizing for your hunger. To stop shrinking around people who gave up on theirs. To stop pretending you're satisfied just because the world claps for your performance. You're done performing. You're done negotiating with your truth. You're done pretending that the cage is noble. So here's the call. Write this in the comments. I will not apologize for wanting more. Declare it publicly. Let the world know you're awake, that you see the machine now, that you're no longer interested in being manageable, that the guilt will no longer be your God, because knowing the truth and doing nothing with it, that's not wisdom, that's cowardice. So burn your mask, sharpen your will, and if the world calls you dangerous for wanting more, smile. They're finally starting to see you.